show up as anything. Creativity is required in a lot of things that we do as humans. Like watching a TV show, you have to have some type of creativity or imagination for you to watch the TV show and be interested. Or reading a book, you have to be able to visualize whatever the writer is saying in order for you to be interested in that book. It doesn't does it what the hell?
Hey,
over here looking like Harry Potter. All right. You in this tea?
it's hot water because I don't have a water pitcher, so I gotta boil the water. But I'd be too thirsty to wait, so I'd just be drinking hot water.
Okay. Where are we starting from? You want to start back up?
Okay, so basically I was saying, I don't know, what part did it cut off on? I mean, what? Yeah.
I don't even know. I was having a very difficult time listening to the whole thing.
I was saying, the last thing I was saying was people. Oh, if you create something, it can get really deep as far as what kind of influence. Oh, what influence means.
Yes.
Okay, so let me press record again. Here we go. Are you still recording?
Yes.
All right, here we go. I think you can get really deep about this depending on what influence means. So your dancer brings influence, like whoever you're mounting the choreography on, they're bringing influence just by the transfer of the movement from your body to theirs is already different. And then if you're having somebody come in to look and give feedback, whether you choose to make an adjustment based on that feedback or not, doesn't mean that you haven't taken it in subconsciously. You know what I mean? Like, you still heard what that person said, and it's still going to have an influence when you go to do the next piece of the choreography or the next piece of artwork or whatever medium that you do. It's still some form of influence. Not to mention, like musical artists, you always make whatever you want. Like, but if you want people to hear it, it still needs to be a sound that is attractive to a particular group of people. Like your message can be whatever you want, but it's the sound that's important. And that's why they say all artists sound alike, you know. Our parents be like, everybody sound the same. Everybody sound the same. And I'm like, yeah, because that was the sound. But if you listen to your 90s music, your 80s, your 70s, your 60s, that's how they're defined, because they all sound the same. Like, that was the sound of the era. And if you want it to be popular, if you want it to be heard on the radio, you need to fall in line with that sound. That doesn't mean that you're selling out as an artist. That means you want to be a paid artist. You know what I mean? Do what you love, make what you love, and get paid to do it. Because if nobody is watching it, you're not getting paid. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I was thinking about it more on, I guess it could be more of a surface level viewpoint, starting back to like school. Like they decide on which art forms you get to experience. So mainly music, and then you do a little art classes, some drawing and stuff like that. But like you start even like in preschool or kindergarten, you start learning the color within the lines. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
and they start putting you in boxes.
That was deep. Hold on. Hold up. That was it right there. That was a word. That was it. Because they used to switch the crayon from my left hand to my right hand. So now the whole left side of my body is stronger, but I write with my right hand.
Yeah.
Okay, you can continue. That's just wow.
No, so that's how they started though. They start teaching you how to color with inside the lines. And then you get to music class and everybody is playing the recorder, right?
Yep.
They'll all have to play the same instrument. And then you have options, you know what I mean? Like when you do like orchestra and band and stuff like that, or chorus, but everybody's learning the same stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, you either stick with it or you don't stick with it. And most people have done that. Most people are like, yeah, I did a little singing when I was in school. I did an instrument. You know, it's just a part of the school life, basically.
Yeah.
And then you have the people who have taken those things outside of school, who will continue music outside of school, or who join dance classes outside of school. You know, because everybody does their extracurricular activities, and dance class is one of those things as well. A lot of people have just taken it all their life just because that's what you do. You're a girl, they put you in dance class. But it's all controlled in some kind of way. Like in art class, even if you're not interested, you have to take it. But they're showing you step by step on how to do these art pieces, on how to draw these things. Yeah. I remember in what grade was it? It was in high school. It had to be like 9th grade. And we were doing like this one art piece. It was like some weird scratch off thing or whatever. But she just kept making me go back to redo it because she's like, it's not done right. You're not doing it right. You have more to do. It's not done right. There's more to do. And I just couldn't understand, like, what more is there to do? It's my art thing. I'm done. The animal is complete. I don't know how many more lines I can do for you. You know what I mean? So that's like an example of how art is controlled. And I'm starting to lose my train of thought. I'm trying to keep it like all together.
Yeah.
But like, all in all, they control it in some sort of way.
Yeah.
Even when you're not in school, when you're doing the extracurriculars like dance classes, everybody is taught the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You take ballet class, you're taught the same stuff. You take hip hop class, it may be a different kind of style.
Yeah.
They may teach you differently, but it's all in all the same stuff. And based on the type of person you are, you kind of make the most out of that experience. How much you want to soak up, what you want to learn from that, and stuff like that, and how you want it to affect you.
Yeah.
And it's really weird because like when I got to college, it seemed like by the time of graduation, I felt like I no longer knew how to dance. Because they had given me so much information.
Yeah.
And so much of an outline on how it's supposed to be that I no longer knew how I just naturally do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What puts you outside of that box?
Yeah. All that curriculum and stuff like that had influenced me so much that I had lost a sense of creativity and my identity as a dancer and stuff like that. So yes, society does have a huge hold on how art is shaped.
Man, even the decision to go against what society is saying as art is still an influence. Like, saying I'm not going to do this because people usually do that is you giving into the influence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When it becomes something where it's like, I'm doing this because this is specifically what my body is telling me to do, then maybe you can say it doesn't have any influence, but how did you get the ability to do that?
Yeah.
You know, like somebody taught you a movement. Somebody gave you something in order to make you regurgitate whatever this information is. It's just crazy how the mind and the body works. And we just be soaking shit up. We don't even know. Kindergarten, forcing the babies to color in the lines.
They be mad as hell.
Yeah, shoot, just trying to get my little 4 to 5-year-olds to stand in first position is like pulling teeth with a tweezer. It's impossible.
Impossible. Because because you're trying to, not saying you specifically, but you're trying to beat the stuff into, like you're trying to
put the discipline in them so
into them. You're breaking a sense of their creativity so that they can fit within the box.
But that's how we were told to teach. Now, what I think is different from today than what it used to be, we are given, now we give the kids a freedom, like we give them a moment to like, you can do whatever you want. Here's your solo, kill it, do whatever you want. And the kids be sitting there doing the floss and stuff. Even if everybody still does the floss, like you got 10 kids in the class and they all do the same dance move, you'd be like, oh my gosh, that was the best thing I ever seen because you did it. And I feel like we didn't get a lot of that. It was a lot of, you should look like this girl over here who's doing this thing.
I feel like that's part of the reason why I struggle so much as a teacher, and why I probably don't like it as much as I thought I would, because I'm literally standing up there and all I can think is, yo, why are y'all listening to me?
Yeah, like who am I?
I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I can't tell y'all how to do this stuff.
You're right. But but you are capable. And if you weren't qualified to be a teacher, people would not make you a teacher.
I just be up there like, they got the wrong one.
You could also be that kind of teacher that teaches them to do them. You know what I mean?
That's what I try to incorporate. I do like to have, even when I choreograph though, I always say like, I'm inspired by my dancers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So most of the time I go in with a story, I know what song I want to do, and I have a vision for what I want it to feel like and what I want people to feel.
Yeah.
But I don't always necessarily have the movements until I get to learn how my dancers move a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they influence my art.
Yeah.
Which is like, I mean, that kind of goes in. I said it a little bit, like a little bit about my goal when I'm creating. I just want to like give people the opportunity to create as well. Like it's a collaboration, you know what I mean? And ultimately, overall, I'm just trying to get a feeling out of the audience. Like I want people to feel something.
Yeah.
But I need other people, my dancers, to be able to understand that so that they can put in the feeling that's needed to make the dance happen. It's not always necessarily about the steps for me. You know what I mean?
I do understand. I think that brings up a good point. Like, when we're creating, what are we specifically creating for? What is our purpose behind it? When I did my senior piece, and I keep going back to that because that's like the biggest thing I've ever choreographed. Usually everything else I choreograph is like for church. So the music already has like its feeling, it has its meaning, it holds the entire piece up. So I feel like I don't have to work as hard because it's already given to me. It's not so much about the dance, it's about me interpreting the music. So, you know, like I'm already set up. Me teaching the 4 to 5-year-olds, I just need to show off their techniques, their skills that they have learned. It doesn't really, you know, mean anything. But when I did my senior piece, because I started from research, it already meant something to me. And my goal now was to make it satisfying. Like the same way I read the book and I felt satisfied by the words and how the book described culture and how a society works together. That's what I wanted the piece to feel like. Now, did I really care if the audience enjoyed it? No, because how I felt when I watched it, if I got that same satisfaction, that's what was important to me. Now, if I got feedback like, I can't see that girl in the corner because when she does this one movement, somebody else steps in front of her, I would go, okay, I can change it. Let's move space so that we can still see that movement because it's important to the entire shape of the piece.
Yeah.
And any feedback that was like, I don't really understand why they do the movement so many times. It's like, well, maybe that's just you. Like maybe you're not supposed to understand why they do that one particular movement so many times.
Yeah.
And maybe that's okay. You know, I think for me, my biggest goal is to put something out to the world that makes them go, that was satisfying. Why was it satisfying? And what things weren't satisfying and why? Like, what does that mean about me? What does that mean about the dancers, about the choreographer, about the world? Like, I don't want it to be like, this is the feeling I have. This is the feeling I want you to have. I just want to put my work out there, and whatever it means to me and what it looks like to me, it is what it is. As long as it makes you take a second to think about the movement, and that's all I need. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's different. It's very different, a different approach. Because like I said, I care about the feel. I just want people to feel something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of times where I'm going around life and I don't feel a thing. I want you to feel something, and I want you to think about, I want that feeling to make you think about something. You know what I mean? Like, so my first piece was ultimately about how in your mind, you like how you get trapped inside of your mind.
Yeah.
So it's like all these different parts of your mind that put you down. And I represented that by like how do I get people to understand visually that this is going on inside somebody's mind? So I had my main dancer blindfolded.
Yeah.
So everything going on around her, she's in.
Yeah, inside.
Yeah. So that was something that was important. Like visually, I need you to understand that she's stuck inside somewhere and she doesn't have as much control. And that's the best way that I could do it. But you necessarily aren't always going to understand that, oh, she's in her mind. These people mess with her in her mind. Like, you know what I mean?
But you still get the idea of she's lost one of her senses.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I got it. I get it.
And I guess that's like kind of like, I don't know. Like, yes, my goal is to make people feel something. And it also goes into a little bit of how I like would want to shape the art world, which is like a big thing. Like, where is my place in the art world? You know, like, because there's so many people who create, who are artists, you know what I mean? and we all kind of start from the same kind of base, even though it might be different in a way based on where you come from and stuff like that. But like, I don't know, like like all these, this like, it's so much to think about, because like, how do you make your mark in the art world? Like, how do you make your art important, or do you even want it to be important?
It's
you know
like,
what I mean?
Yeah, it goes back to like that influence thing. Like at some point you go, this is what gets my artwork seen.
Yeah.
Right. And it doesn't have to change who you are as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
But you do need to take into perspective what's happening around you in order to make it relevant. Like the thing about art is that it's always relevant and it's always changing.
Yeah.
And that's because people change. People create art, and then the art influences people, and then people create art, and it just keeps going,
Yeah, it's a cycle.
Yeah. It's just like, it's such a vast like, it's such a vast not world. I don't even know what the word is. Basically, there's a lot going on. You say the word art, it could be literally,
it could be anything.
Any freaking thing.
That's the thing for me. It could be anything. So why do I personally, why do I be stressing so much about it, what it looks like? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could be anything.
Anything.
Like, that's literally what stops me from creating, because I'm trying to make it like, not even consciously, but trying to make it like everybody else in a way. But my art isn't like everybody else, because I'm not like everybody else.
Yeah. You're your own person, your own.
How am I supposed to make a mark or shape anything if I am if I'm not trying to take my own shape? You know what I mean?
I do.
If I'm trying to just copy and paste,
then it's not. Then the art goes nowhere. Oh, so. Ooh. Oh my goodness. J. Cole blew my freaking mind, because there was a point in time where he was like talking hella shit about all these young rappers, and they saying whatever they want to say. And he felt at a certain time, let me not put words in this man's mouth, but this is what I understood J. Cole to be saying, that he couldn't quite understand like the new age of rap. And then he like took a step back and realized that they're different because the time is different. Just like he's a different rapper than the people who came before him.
Yeah.
About how the people who came before him treated him when he was a young artist. And so then he completely flipped the script, and now he's about supporting. Like, no matter what that art sounds like, even though it doesn't sound like him, and he's not making it like, it might not be the same meaning or depth that he's making his music, but it's still relevant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that was pretty cool.